Good morning, Rory.
Good morning.
You're the founder of SpunOut.ie. What is that exactly?
SpunOut.ie is a national youth organisation, and essentially we use the internet to provide information, support and opportunities to younger people roughly between the ages of 16 and 25.
Okay, so it's not just high school, it's also university age.
It is indeed, yeah. The average user of the website or that gets involved with the organisation is around 19, 20, but it goes sometimes it goes as low as 13 and sometimes it goes up to 40, and quite often we've had 60-year-olds plus looking for information on sexual health or mental health or some of the different issues that we cover online.
And why did you set it up? How what was the idea behind SpunOut?
Originally, I was a researcher with what was the Northwestern Health Board in Donegal, and I went into schools and colleges throughout the Northwest, and I was basically asking younger people what were the issues that were affecting them, and how could the society structures go about helping them in their different needs. And what I found was that mental health and sexual health, some of the more taboo issues, really needed better addressing in Ireland, and the education system wasn't really doing that. But also that the social provision of facilities for young people, opportunities to get involved in decision making and having your say, they didn't really exist, and that the internet was really coming on stream as being the big opportunity to, I suppose, reach a lot of people in a kind of an appealing way. So
what are the main issues that you find that young people are interested in? Like when you were going around as a researcher with the health board, what were the things that kept coming up?
Well, at the time, as I said, mental health and suicide would have been huge issues, and still unfortunately are. But education system, the relevance of the education system to people's needs was a huge one as well. Different issues around sex and relationships, I suppose the disillusionment with the political system and people despairing that they didn't see any kind of relevance to political system and younger people's lives. Quite often younger people aren't voting and that kind of thing, but they did want to make a difference. They want to have a say on issues like climate change or equality or racism or social justice issues in their community.
So basically it's kind of encouraging positive activism.
Absolutely. Positive activism is what it's all about. We're basically trying to encourage people to, if they feel strongly about something, or if there's something that they have a gripe about, that they should essentially take action and get into activism, but to try and do it in a positive way that isn't necessarily always about opposing something, that it's actually about proposing a positive solution and making a positive difference. And you can do that in many different ways, not necessarily...
Yeah, let's face it, we're kind of famous. We love to give out about things, but we don't tend to like to put our money where our mouth is. So it sounds like you're kind of giving constructive tips for how the new generation can actually, get involved and make changes.
Big time. Irish people are quite good at giving out, and we need to transform that energy into actually mobilising and getting out there and getting our say. And there's so many ways you can do that. You can do that on a very simple way about choosing how you spend your money. Do you buy fair trade products, or do you avoid some of the bigger, more nastier companies, for instance? Or you can do it by being nice to your friends and family. You can do it by voting for different political parties that are better attuned to your needs. But you can't do it through protest, or you can do it through letter writing or visiting your senator or TD. They all have clinics. They are all getting paid by us, the taxpayer. And there's 10,000 different ways you can make a difference.
Yeah, because I can see
what we're trying to do is encourage people to open up that discussion and say, if you feel something, then do something, and be imaginative about what that could be.
I'm looking at SpunOut.ie, and it says the Academy of Activism, the country needs you. And, it reminds me of the old American campaigns, your country needs you. But what is going on right now at the Academy of Activism? Because it says Galway, August 6th, and that's today.
Well, it kicks off at 5 o'clock today, and we have 20 people coming from all across the country out to the west. Unfortunately, it's a rainy day, but hopefully that blows over later on today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be gathering all weekend until Sunday night, and we have a whole range of guest speakers ranging from elected politicians, and we've got an MEP, a senator, a county councillor. We've got training in media skills, in online campaigning. We've got with the support of Amnesty, we've been able to devise a campaign strategy program, and we'll be having discussions and debates and basically trying to explore what it is that motivates people to make a difference and what are the top tips for doing so, and just try and build confidence and build skills.
Those all sound like wonderful things to have when you're, in your late teens or in your early 20s, and to kind of build that sort of confidence in your own opinion and how you can, make your opinion heard. But what about the fact that so much of activism really kind of goes very close to breaking the law? There's a lot of protesting and a lot of crossing picket lines and a lot of things like that. So how do you sort of broach the whole subject of law breaking?
Well, I think the activism that we quite often hear about makes the headlines. We don't hear about the 99% that is going on that isn't headline friendly. But we are aware that there are legal issues around protesting and campaigning, and what we're doing is we're providing training and information. We've got support information from the Civil Liberties group, and we'll be encouraging people to know their rights, to know the law, and to know the consequences of breaking the law. But it also is worth exploring that whole area as to where the boundaries of law breaking stand. And we know that from history that Mandela and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and people, historic figures that people look up to, were all involved in law breaking. But it's important that we don't get into hysterics about, it's right or wrong, that we actually, as a country, kind of explore the issues and talk to each other as grown-ups around these issues.
Yeah.
But we're saying that activism doesn't always have to be about breaking fences and all that kind of stuff, which, is one tactic, and some people would argue for it, but that there's 5,000 different ways or 5 million different ways of making a difference.
It sounds really interesting. SpunOut.ie is the website, and if you want to find out more about the camp and more about what they're doing, you can see there. And the camp, I see, is free, and it's been funded from Atlantic Philanthropies and the HSE. Rory, thank you so much for talking to me, and I hope it's a fantastic weekend.
It will. Just to clarify, HSE provide our health support and not necessarily for the activism, but thank you.